My sole focus of this week's video is to restore peace to your soul. And how do we do that? By the soles of our feet. Okay, I said soul way too many times, but I wanted you to understand the importance of this. And I'm explaining it as a friend would explain it to you, not as some medical professional who has all sorts of doubts, or a tree hugger who may be really passionate about this topic. And, you know, you get a little bit hesitant, like, okay, what are they even talking about? I have practiced this for a number of years, and I've gotten to see results like in real time with my grandkids. The baby, Jack, oh man, he's my buddy. When he gets agitated, and it may be a number of things. It may be his older brother and sister, or that he's overstimulated. Whatever the reason, the first thing I do is I take him outside immediately, even if it's hot out, even if it's a little bit rainy, and we walk on the grass together. He has never ever once cried or whined upon doing this. That doesn't come with scientific results or percentages or anything like that. It's just my little case study. And I've done grounding, or actually it's called earthing. And the difference is, earthing is when you go outside with your bare feet on the grass, preferably damp grass, because water is a conductor of electricity. So, the number one reason you may want to try this is it may just not be about grounding or earthing with your bare feet. For that 3 minutes that you're outside, and even though I totally believe it has something to do with the electrons and the energy from the earth, like balancing us out from the autonomic nervous system response, which is where the fight or flight and that tense energy comes from, to the parasympathetic response. That is a hard word to say. Of digest, rest, the body going into a calmer state. Is it may not just be about the electrons and all of that earthy balancing. For those 3 minutes that you're outside, you're away from screens, you're away from direct Wi-Fi signals, you're away from an addiction that I think many people don't even discuss the magnitude of what it's having on our nervous systems, which is scrolling. And you're actually outside. When you're outside, the mind and the body are forced to look at surroundings. You wouldn't just walk outside with your screen in your hand. You're looking for potholes or sticks or bees or whatever. And that presence of being alert and seeing the things around you is deeply calming, because the brain is now in unison with the earth. And, of course, there's going to be a whole market on this, because people are looking for natural remedies. When you see a company that sells grounding blankets or grounding sheets, it's pretty interesting. I don't have it yet. I haven't gone that far, but supposedly it reduces the cortisol that builds up. And, ideally it'd be great not to have a high cortisol level, because that causes all sorts of problems. But it's just a natural thing that cortisol rises throughout the day. And how do we reduce it? So these studies are showing that people are sleeping better. And that was last week's video. I was talking about the need for sleep, and so many people are affected with insomnia. So how do we get more sleep? Maybe look into a grounding sheet or blanket. I don't know. I'm going to look into that myself. We got to keep that in mind with all of us who are affected with interrupted sleep or lack of sleep, or at worst, insomnia. And then third is inflammation. So your body constantly produces molecules involved in oxidation. Some of these are called free radicals. They're not automatically bad. You need some of these processes, but excessive oxidative stress is associated with inflammation and cellular damage. Boo. The earthing hypothesis is that electrons from the earth could potentially act as electron donors and influence some of these oxidative processes. There are some studies reporting changes in inflammatory markers with grounding, but this mechanism is still a hypothesis, not settled medical fact. So essentially, the earth gives you negative ions associated with the elimination of inflammation. Like, I would rather go outside than sit in a doctor's waiting room for an hour trying to explain why I'm stressed out, why I can't sleep, why my cortisol levels are so high. Like, this is free information. But I'm going to end it with a third bonus interpretation. So, as you know, I've been studying or reading the Bible for coming up on almost 2 years. And the one thing that I pray for every time I open the Bible is wisdom, because apparently it's the greatest gift. Yes, our greatest command is to love God and to love one another. And that's beautiful. But if you're a stressed out mess who's not sleeping and you have inflammation going on all through your body, that's going to be really hard to do. So, how do we access that peace? How do we get to a place where we can love and be loved? And I just love the Bible verse that He will give us a peace beyond all understanding. So it doesn't matter what our circumstances are, whether it's job loss, health condition, whatever nonsense is going on in America by the elites or the government, all these things can really tear at our peace. So finding that wisdom and that peace that surpasses all understanding, what has helped me, and I won't tell you what to do because my only goal is to help people have that type of peace. And that's why I'm so excited to finally do this video, because it's helped me tremendously. Reading the Bible, understanding the message, realizing it's 30 or 40 bucks and you can study it every day to connect with God or to connect with the greatest love story ever told, which in my particular faith is the sacrificial love of Jesus, how He came here to rescue us from addictions and pain and depression. So, if you can go through those 3 points and spend 3 minutes outside, and I would recommend do it every day, tell me your results. Tell me if you notice anything. Let's surround each other with love and support and make people question, why is she so peaceful? Why is he so happy? Like, I love it. I love a community grassroots effort to discover answers to the problems and pains that plague our society. So remember, your soul, and getting your sole of your feet on the ground and getting that beneficial, calming, relaxing, anti inflammatory benefit. All right. God bless you. I'll see you next week.